Welcome back to part two. I hope you like me profile picture. It's Flex, big Flex, the man who ain't got nobody to train.
King of the cookbook.
Hey, could you imagine
King of the cookbook.
a man of his age, right, getting up one morning and decided to write a song called "Looking for Fast Car Eddie" and paying out your own money to get it out there into a record? What is all that about, James? Can you explain
Is
that?
it? Is that genuine?
Yeah, of course.
That's right.
Anybody who doesn't believe me, Google Dominic Ingle looking for Fast Car Eddie YouTube. And there he is, written and sung by him. And do you know what? He's not got a bad voice, to be honest. I'll give him his dues. He used to be in a Take That tribute band years ago, and they used to wear. This is a true story. This is a true story, right? They used to be in a Take That tribute band, and he used to wear chat pants. You know them what the village people wear, leather pants. And he was the lead singer, and he had a gingerish, like a shredded wheat Arthur Scargill type haircut. This is a true story. Ask anybody. Ask Pelly Reid. Ask Johnny Horscott Nelson. Ask Glyn Rhodes, MBE, Richard Towers, anybody up there, Ryan Rose, the lot. He was the lead singer of this Take That tribute band, and they wore chat pants, you know, them leather pants that village people wear.
Yeah. I would have to wear chaps. I'd have him down as the manager. He was a bit fruity, wasn't he? Well, quite a bit fruity.
I mean, it's each to their it's each to their own, isn't it? Really. I mean, to be honest with you, he must have walked by me about 4 times in the last 10 years
Right.
at Meadowhall, and the last 2 times he's done a double take, but he never said no to me. I've just walked by. You know how smug I am. I'm a smug little fucking aren't I? I looked at it, and he looked at me, and I thought, "Look at you in your body warmer, you big stiff." Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But to be fair to him, he is a strict disciplinarian as a trainer, and some fighters need that. Some need an arm around them. But would anybody have gone to him if he want there because of who his dad was? No.
Probably not.
But you got to look at it like this, right? He's ex-bodybuilder, isn't he? So that means he'll have been taking all the special nuts and berries and fruit smoothies and all that, right? But that's a little bit like if you're a crackhead going to Narcotics Anonymous and teacher stood in front of you after a sesh and you can smell it on him, and you'll be thinking, wow, what am I doing here? I'm trying to get myself off crack. And I've got this teacher here, and I know he's been on it the night before because you can smell it. It's a little bit like that, isn't it, really? And like I said, isn't that right, Flexi? 3 people on your watch got busted for PEDs. But nobody's going to say a word. Not when he's on the area council. How can they
No.
take his licence off him if he's on area council or his manwa? They're not going to do it, are they? And what's happened, it's had a knock-on effect. And people have said, you know what? I'm not taking my kids there to be an amateur boxer. So they shut the amateur boxing down, haven't they? Why don't your big copper mate, PC Gully, ask you that on his channel, Boxing King Media? Why don't they ask you that, Flex? Why parents don't want to take their kids to your gym? Why not? Because they want to take the kids to a gym when the gym keeps getting busted for PEDs. It's like
Yeah.
if you're running a youth club, right, and you're serving up weed to all people that are there, he's going to want to take the kids there, aren't he? Not that we're saying he's responsible for what fighters take, because when fighters go home, it's not his responsibility, is it? But it stains the gym, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
You see where I'm coming from? So look what's happened. He ended up with out, hasn't he? He's ended up having to train fat solicitors and fat accountants and sell his soul on Boxing King Media about his cookbooks. That's his role now in boxing. That's unless he can dig Kell Brook up or Kid Galahad. He's finished, done, kaput. Bye bye, Flex.
Yeah,
And people
Brendan.
tell, and people tell me Sheffield's a hotbed of boxing. What gym's a hotbed in Sheffield? Tell me. Tell me what
Well,
gym's a hotbed in Sheffield and who's the biggest star?
the English Institute of Sport, but that's not even
That's
that's
well,
not even a
it's not
pro gym, is it?
professional, is it? That's amateur, isn't it? Which
Yeah,
is the top professional hotbed gym of Sheffield? I keep hearing that Sheffield's this hotbed of boxing. So, whom is a hotbed fighter from Sheffield? Whom? Dalton Smith? Is he a world?
yeah.
Is he a
He's
world
not world
champion?
champion.
James, is Dalton Smith a world? I just answered the question. Is Dalton
No,
Smith a world champion? Yes or no?
no,
Right. Who's the world champion from Sheffield? Who?
there isn't one now, is there?
There you go. So is Sheffield a hotbed of boxing? Yes or no?
Certainly not.
There you go. So can people stop telling me in emails, not so much comments, because them will go on comment section. We have a regulars. They're hardcore. They know. Can people stop emailing me from who are probably half casual, half hardcore? Stop telling me Sheffield's a hotbed. Sheffield was a hotbed years ago. I went to Full Monty. It were flying then. 1997 October. I went to that. It were my birthday treat. Got a ticket. Somebody that's just done two 16 stretches back to back. But a
Mhm.
long time ago that. But no, Sheffield isn't a hotbed no more. It's not. Oh, not on your Nelly. If it was, Flex would be training people, wouldn't he? But he ain't,
Yeah,
is it?
certainly.
He's just training fat men, taking the money off them, giving them an older waffle about, yeah, stay consistent. Bit like when he were ringing it, really, when he were telling fighters what to do. Look, his timings out. Freeze and throw, freeze and force, freeze and force. Anybody can say that. Oh, his timings out. You're just trying to G your fighter. Look, it's knackers for the sake of it. He's finished, he's washed up. There you go. Right, women's boxing, where's it heading, James?
Oh God, it is another subject that I'm not very au fait with, but I don't think it's heading very far, to be honest. It doesn't. It's relying on the old names, isn't it, to sort of keep the interest. Natasha Jonas is a name that I repeatedly hear, and I actually, when I do cast my eyes over women's boxing, I do find her quite entertaining. But you sort of think, who's really going to fill the void? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no one there to fill the void, really, is there? Clarissa Shields has got a mouth on her, but I
Agree.
don't think. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, I said I agree.
Well, yeah, she's got a gob on her, but she's American. I don't think in this country. I think the ladies are a lot more reserved, and I think that's going to be their undoing, really, because
They're too nice, aren't we, all? Like, your Natasha Jonas is, Natasha
yeah,
Jonas, she's a little darling, isn't she, really? But she's media savvy, isn't she? She's good for telly and that, but she don't cause controversy and that. Terry Harper don't cause controversy. Savannah don't.
no,
Chantel Cameron don't. Katie Taylor's Irish. She don't cause controversy. Rihanna Dixon don't. So, what's that other one? Sandy Ryan. None of them really do they? They don't get the.
yeah.
So it is an hard sell for British girls, isn't it? Our British girls.
I reckon so. Yeah, it's a bit dead in the water because you need that personality to sell it. And all right, they have got personalities. Natasha Jonas is very good in the media and stuff like that. But you do need a bit of a mouth to sell. And even though we slag off Tyson Fury rotten, I suppose the reason why he makes so much money is because he's such an arsehole. And if the women ain't going to be able to do that, then they're not really going to be generating the cash, are they? And the Saudis aren't going to fund it because it's just all virtue signaling at the moment. And when they finally clamp down, and this boxing league that was spoke about earlier in the week, when that becomes a thing, women aren't going to be involved in that, are they? So, it's going to be phased out, and by maybe end of next year, you'll see less and less.
You think?
Yep, I think, and I don't think I've done too bad on the old prediction front because, like I say, Turkey and Dana White and all that, they've been talking about that Saudi boxing league, haven't they? And I mentioned about the UFC model, so I'm steadfast on my predictions. I'm holding out for that one.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? This is how I look at it at the moment, right?
Go on.
Women's boxing, right? There isn't a pool there. The talent pool's not there for them, is it?
No.
So all these lefties and woke people that were going on about it now, like it's great. You know, people like Super Bean. You know, Super Bean.
Yeah.
You come on about, don't you? 29
Yeah,
years
I know.
beat cancer, and they won't even mention his name.
I know.
Well, leave him for pastures new, and then ends up a bitter and bobber, Ponson living in boxing. Him that we're going to move on to pastures new. But yeah, they give Dave Clark a big send off, didn't they?
Yeah. He wasn't the worst one when it comes to women's boxing, though, Bean, you know. Gad was, wasn't he? Calling Ebony Bridges the Muhammad Ali of women's boxing.
You know why,
Where's Ebony?
don't you? Because he actually thought that he were in with a shout with her.
I know he did. Talking about the tattoos. Absolute weirdo, that man. So,
Well, this is how I look at it, right? I want to know what is happening with the middleweight division because we've got Arislanda Lara, right, who's ranked the best middleweight in the bar on BoxRec. He's ranked the best middleweight in the world, and he's coming up to 42-year-old. Then we've got Hamzat Shiraz. He's ranked the second best middleweight in the world, and his best win's Tyler Denny. Then we've got Zanibek Alim Kanuli, who nobody gives a flying about. He's the third best. Then we've got Eubank Jr. Oh my God, who's fighting a small welterweight apparently next. Then we've got Carlos Adames and Bruno Suarez. They're your top six. Then we've got at 7 Etinoza Oliha. At 8 we've got Patrice Volney. 9 Shane Mosley Jr., who's been knocked about. And at number 10, Ananuel and Gani Misangui. They're your top 10 middleweights in the world. It's an absolute pony division at the moment. It's weakest it's ever been. Looking at it now, right, Hamzat Shiraz could end up being the undisputed middleweight king. Could you imagine him going down in record books next to Marvin Hagler?
yeah, I can. I just want to say, actually, you mentioned Sugar Shane Mosley there. Why weren't he at the award ceremony? Do you
No,
know what I mean? If Conor Ben
no,
could be
no,
there,
no, 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 James, let me just stop you there. Let me just stop you there.
go on.
Shane Mosley Jr.
No, I know. Why wasn't he there? Conor Ben could get in.
Oh,
Why didn't they invite?
you mean his dad?
No, I meant I was taking the piss. I was
Oh, sorry,
basically saying,
sorry.
no, I was basically saying Conor Ben. What's Conor Ben done to merit being at that award ceremony? I'm going off on one like you was with Fury. What's Conor Ben done to go that award ceremony? His dad's Nigel Benn. Well, Sugar Shane Mosley was even more accomplished than Nigel Benn, arguably top 5 lightweight ever. So why wasn't Sugar Shane Mosley there holding court? Do you know what I mean? Like, give him a world title shot. You might as well, Ross. The middleweight division's dead. And Shiraz will probably beat that Adames. I've watched him and didn't think much of him. And it's a sad indictment of the division at the moment, really.
Right, this is how I look at it, James, right? What has Conor Ben done to deserve a world title shot? He's calling out Haney and Garcia, isn't he? Him and
Mm-hmm.
Garcia would be a good one, wouldn't it? 2 drug cheats.
I know. See who can get hold of the best gear, basically.
Well, look, this is how I look at it, right? This is how I look at it. And this is why people shouldn't buy into welterweight, right? Conor Ben's last welterweight fight was 3 years ago against Chris Van Eerden, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, since then, he's fought Orozco and Dobson at light middle. So he hasn't fought since April 2022 as a welterweight. But yeah, all of a sudden, Conor Ben at welterweight is box rec number 2 in the world. How can that be? So that means that he's the number 1 ranked British welterweight. Conor Ben is ranked number 1 on box rec at welterweight, but he hasn't fought at welterweight for nearly 3 years. Right. So
Yeah.
what does that mean about these box rec rankings? Are they pony or are they being manipulated by promoters?
I reckon there is definite manipulation going on there, to be honest. Someone's probably got hold of John Shepherd and just said, "Here, Have,
No,
have a have a play around with these.
no, listen to me, James, right? You need to listen to me now and listen very, very carefully. Let me just tell you something here. I'm going to educate you now. I've just explained to you about the middleweight division, and it's the weakest
Hmm.
it's ever been in history. That's the world middleweights
Hmm.
I just told you about. I'm now going to tell you, right, about the British middleweights and then the world. So we've got Conor Bennett number one, number two, Lewis Crocker, number three, Arlam Eubank, number four, Prince Patel. So Prince Patel's ranked number four best welterweight in Britain. Number five, Michael McKinson. Number six, Harry Scarf. What is all that like? But then when we look at the best in the world, right? Listen, look at this here. This is so shocking. These are welterweights. This is an era where you've got, Ray Leonard, Duran, people like that, Lloyd Hunnigan, all them greats. We've got Jaron Annis number one, Conor Benn number two, Jin Sasaki three, Brian Norman Jr. four, Delaney Mbengi five, Ilimantas Staniatos 6, Mario Birias 7, David Papot 8, Giovanni Santillan 9, Rowan Polanco 10. Nobody knows who that load of old pony are, right, at welterweight. So middleweight's dead at world level. Welterweight's dead. Do I even need to tell you about super middleweight, which you already know, don't you?
Yeah.
That's
Well.
died a death as well, and it. So, where
Yeah.
are the stars? I've just give you three massive divisions where we've had your Calzaghes, your Fractures, people like that, Robin Reeves. Where are the big stars? We've got Anthony. God, he's throat us out at light heavyweight. Where are these? What's happening here with these glamour divisions? What's going on?
Even without the stars, though, why is Conor Benn at number two? I'd love
He's
to have
at
a
the
chat with.
welterweight, and he's not fought for nearly 3 years as a welterweight. So how is
Well,
he?
exactly, exactly. And the last time he was fighting, he fought a corpse of a fighter in Chris Van Heerden who wasn't sort of. He was on the cusp of world level anyway when he was in his prime. So I don't really. There's some manipulation going on there, and there's some. I think there's some sexual favours, to be honest with you. I think that's what's going on. Because he looks a bit fruity with that sort of mop back hair that he had a couple of weeks ago, and questions have got to be asked. Do you know what I mean? He's just I hate Conor Benn. I know hate's a strong word, but I just think God, if my daughter was going out with him, I'll tell you, there'd be words, mate. I'm telling you, he's a scumbag, and he just doesn't deserve anything. He don't deserve the press that he gets. That's all. He's just shy.
Is Conor Benn ranked high with WBC rankings, welterweight?
I haven't seen the rankings to be honest with you, Russ, but I would presume so because of all this chat about him going for the WBC title. And and also he got shielded, didn't he? Mauricio Solomon shielded him and gave him an excuse, the eggs excuse, which he rejected. Why is Mauricio Solomon batting for Conor Benn? Because I mean, you're talking about the Asses thing before about you can see why Matchroom are doing it,
Hmm.
but WBC are not. They're not promoters. They're just a governing body, a rankings body. So what? They're not having to invest any money in him. What are they getting out of it? It's just a joke, isn't it?
It's a joke, mate. It's an absolute joke. But like I said, nobody's doing that. No, none of these YouTubers are saying to Conor Benn, you haven't fought at welterweight since 2022 April, and you fought a corpse, right? That was your last stoppage nearly 3 years ago. Why are you ranked so high with WBC? And why are you ranked so high on BoxRec? And you're not even fighting at that weight, and you're fighting at middleweight next because they think they can get a fight at that weight. Look. It's manipulation of the rankings, and it's got to stop. And let's hope that Turkey, who's going to do this and going to do that, he's done a lot so far. A lot of people have been taking off him. Let's see if he can do something with this because people are getting punched in the head and people are cheating and nobody's doing anything about it. Do you know what I mean? And I want to see
Yeah.
something done. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
one of them things that we're not going to get to the bottom of it. Daniel Dubois, he's got Joseph Parker. How do you see that going, James?
Joseph Parker, the closer it's getting, I could see Joseph Parker springing an upset, really. Dubois, they're trying to turn him into this little media darling at the moment. He's a lot more vocal, isn't he? And out there and jumping in the ring after Usyk and all that. Whereas, don't see much of Joseph Parker. I think he's quietly going about his business, and he's become a more sort of. He's gone back to where he was originally with Andy Lee, like a lot quicker combinations. A bit more of a complete boxer, and I think Dubois might struggle with that because he's just Dubois is very tram lines, isn't he? Straightforward and, trying to trap his man to let go of the bombs, whereas I don't think Parker will allow him to do that. I think he might outbox him.
Yeah. What, you think
Yeah.
Parker might outbox him, yeah?
Yeah, I would say so. I want Dubois to win just because I'm friends with Kieran Farrell, who's like his co-trainer, but it's more for Kieran, really. But yeah, I wouldn't begrudge Parker a win. I like him.
Well, I'm going to have Daniel Dubois as a favourite. I know people are saying Parker's on a good run of form, but against who?
Well, yeah, I suppose Wilder's not. When you look back at it, really, it's hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, Wilder wasn't all that, was he? Really, when you look at it, I just think that confidence might carry him over the line, and he's not. He's not daft. I think if he would have been that level of confident against Anthony Joshua and been allowed to box his fight and come forward a little bit more, yeah, he might have even shocked Joshua. And we could have been talking about a unified champion. I think he might just edge it on points, personally.
Oh, Parker, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I've got. But you're better at predicting than me, Russ, so probably talking shite, aren't
No, not really. I just think that, look, Joseph Parker, who's he beat? He's had a few good wins, but they were against old men, weren't they, really?
I? Well, that's one thing that you have got. I mean, Dubois is in his prime, isn't he? I think it's a very interesting matchup. It shouldn't be for a world title because, to me, the only world champion is Usyk. But it's a very, it's a good fight for the best of the rest, isn't it? I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, I see where you're coming from now. I see where you're coming from. I spoke with Sean, Big Sean, who comes on the channel. He speaks very clearly. He's a good guest about
Yeah,
the Dillian White situation, and it's rife. People are telling me, left, right, and centre, that there's no down for Dillian White. Eddie's not wanted to go near him since that fourth drug issue. And then we've got obviously let him down with Joshua fight. And then
yeah,
obviously Bricktop's not bothered about him because of what happened, because of what Eddie told him to do with that Fury fight. Don't help him promote it. Don't give Queensbury a leg up. Why should we? We're guaranteed the mandatory money. And Dylan then didn't give Eddie his slice of the cake because he never had a deal with him, did he? And all that. So do you think
yeah.
White's burnt too many bridges? Not forgetting he didn't pay Vidal Riley his 600 quid for sparring at Loughborough.
I mean, he has. He's burned too many bridges, but I had a little chuckle to myself there, Russ, because you mentioned the phrase, full failed drug test. If we're coming hard at Conor Ben, then why the fuck is this a man allowed to even continue being in the conversation?
So everybody's
He
scared.
done it.
Everybody's scared to death of him because he's the big bully, isn't he? A big can man. Anybody who wants it can get it. Well, we've
Oh
still
yeah,
got Max to fight, haven't we?
yeah. Well, this is the problem, though, isn't it? And this is why, hopefully, Turkey, if he can bring the sport in house as part of a boxing league, hopefully he can tidy it up because it don't matter how big and hard you are, you can't really do nothing with no hands, can you? So, yeah, we shouldn't even be talking about Dillian White. One drug test bad enough, not let alone four. Do you
Well,
know what I mean?
he had that one in K1, then he had that one early in his career, then he had the Rivers one, and then the one before the Joshua fight, didn't he? Which the fight.
Yeah.
So that's four issues, and nobody wants to talk about it. Not Coogan's, not Puppy Parsons, but have you noticed how they all give him cold shoulder, all them with access?
Yeah. Well, it's understandable, isn't it? Because Frank will be in their ear rolls, particularly.
Hand up
Eddie will
their
be in there.
arseholes.
Well, yeah, yeah. It's just I wanted to speak about one other thing as well, Russ, right? Just quickly, right? Whilst you were on the subject of him, because I know, what's he called? Big Malk was stirring the pot, weren't he, about Dillian White when he fouled against Rivers. But have you noticed, did you look at Eddie Hearn's new glasses?
Yeah, he looks a cock.
He looks like Big Malk. Have they been going to the same optician?
Now, listen, mate. Nobody's glasses are bigger than Big Malk's. He gets them off Elton personally. Elton John's his godfather.
Oh, yeah. Everyone looks like Harry Hill and they think it's fashionable, don't they? Do you know what I mean? I can't say out, obviously. I'm like a fat bloody Harry Potter, but still, I don't know. I just thought, what are you doing? Take them off, Eddie, for fuck's sake.
2 seconds. Let me just read this. Jonathan's just texted me. Right, Jonathan. Right, you'll be watching this later. You've just texted me. Why are you texting me now, telling me that Bricktop's wishing Fury all the best in his retirement? Do you seriously think that old Dinted's going to let him walk away from the sport without getting his claws into him for a few more fights, Jonathan? And that Fury's done with boxing and he's had enough because he's been beat. Them defeats don't mean no to him because everybody's gassing him up, telling him he won who's around him. You know, another thing that bothers me, James, as well. Do you know these
Well,
people who keep saying what they think soon after a fight? Like Dave Allen, were adamant he won one and he were robbed and all that.
yeah.
3 weeks later, he's now watched it back and he's decided, the lazy rhino has decided that he lost. Where's that? Where's that come from all of a sudden? Who's got to him?
That's come from a late night phone call where he's being told what side his bread's buttered. But at the same time, with that, I don't really understand because he said he didn't even want the rematch, as I've mentioned before. So has he been given? Yeah, if you change your opinion and that will look after you, well, it doesn't sound like he wants to fight on. So what else are they going to do to him? I don't know. It's all a bit bizarre, isn't it? Everyone, it's a loving, and boxing's just turned into this. I mean, it's always been a bit of a cesspit, isn't it? But now everyone's backslapping, smiling on one hand, and then slagging each other off behind their backs the next. It's all bloody ridiculous.
Well, what's the biggest wind up for me? Obviously, it's mandatories, right, where they have rematch clauses, and that Dubois rematch for Big Meat. I mean, Big Meat shit his pants and didn't take it, but why should Daniel Dubois, who were technically the paper champion, have to give Big Meat a rematch because he knocked him out, but he shit his pants? But that winds me up. But these media guys like Jug Ears and the Gad and Simon Jordan, people like that, once they call a fight and give their score, within 24 hours, oh, I've watched it back. What, after all that partying, after shows? Oh, we managed to watch it back and I can see this score and I can see, when they're doing the Sunday sermons and the Monday Mass, I can
Yeah.
see this score, I can see that score, and there's two, maybe three swing rounds. Where's this swing round saying come from? Swing rounds, I never heard it in my life. Oh,
No idea.
because I'm
No idea.
thinking when I hear the word swing, is swingers when I'm looking at the guy because he looks like a swinger.
He does. He
I
does.
think,
Oh, let's put our keys in the bowl. Yes. These phrases, they're the equivalent of like food's pulled pork, isn't it? They're everywhere. Another one is downloading the data. That really pisses me off.
you know what?
I can't.
Well, I'm going to
Go
get
on.
Peter De Freitas' opinion on what swing rounds mean and Kent. I'm going to get them boys on this week because get in touch with me, chaps, because they know what this swing round thing. They'll be able to explain it a bit more than me because I swear to God, I'm losing my mind over it. When I keep hearing people give a score, well, I had it 7-5 to so and so, and then they've watched it back and well, I could see it 7-5 other way. Well, that's 4 rounds out.
Well, a swing round to me, right? Well, the swing round shouldn't exist because that's sort of like saying, well, as far as I'm aware, it's like if someone's doing a little bit better than they were the previous round, then you'll give them that one, which is totally wrong. That is what the problem is with boxing. And all these terms like, oh, the champion has to have the title ripped away from him. Why does he? Every single round needs to be a separate fight, really, for it to be scored effectively. All this swing round crap, it's an excuse for them to score it to the one that they like rather than the one that actually won the fight. And I can't say out because, as I said to you, I was guilty of that on the night. I fuck knows how. I really don't understand how. On the night, I had Fury winning the fight, but my excuse was I'm pissed out of my head. When I sat there and I soberly watched it, I had Usyk winning the fight by 4 rounds, and I thought, how the hell did I come to that conclusion? I think it was just my cerebral palsy brain rust, to be honest with you. It's
Listen, mate,
total disablement,
that
you know.
mate, you are a human cock.
Oh yeah, I know, I am fucking
Uh,
massive.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave you with this one. The
Go
Gad's
on.
done an interview with Bricktop on Talksport. Bricktop said about him because he gave a different opinion to Bricktop, and then the Gad suddenly agreed with Bricktop. Have you seen? Have you seen it? Did you see it?
I've not seen that. No.
He said,
Um.
but what the Gad, a bit like the Cobra, forgot to ask Turkey about why he were holding Bricktop's hand in front of Wales media. The Gad, why didn't you ask Bricktop about what Fury meant in his retirement little video on Insta, where he said at least Dick Turpin wore a mask? Why didn't you ask Bricktop what he meant by that? The Gad, why didn't you ask him that? Is he going on about the judges? Because I'm sure you would have mentioned it if he meant the judges, or is Fury alluring to missing money? Because why didn't he say that 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks or whatever it were? Is he referring to missing money or what? Or were you not unsure, Gad? So you've got access. So why don't Simon Jordan, why don't everybody get onto TalkSport, Simon Jordan them, and ask them to ask Bricktop what Fury means about Dick Turpin, because Dick Turpin was a highway robber on an horse. Is that
He
fiction?
wasn't there.
Or did it happen? Is it like Robin Hood? Is it true, Dick Turpin? What it did he? Is he?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. He was a highwayman. He got executed. Yeah.
Did he?
Um. He was a real person.
Oh, right.
Um. Yeah, but I don't know the background behind it and all that. But he gets glamorized a lot. But I'm with you. The reason why Gad didn't ask the proper questions though is because he's not a proper journalist. Really, he's a fanboy. He used to be a proper journalist before YouTube come along and ruined it. But now he's just like all about the access, and you can tell people can't stand him like Adam Catterall and all that, but they're forced to work with him, and that makes you question their integrity, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okie dokie then. Well, listen, James, thanks for coming on. It's been a real pleasure. I hope you're
Thank you,
well.
mate.
Have a
I'm
bullied.
very well.
Have a bullied you.
No, not today. People were crying in the comments, weren't they?
Yeah, well, it gives them something to talk about, doesn't it? All them that
Well,
have
yeah,
comments, they ain't got the knackers to come on here.
exactly. I just want to say, basically, anything that's said to me by Russ, yeah, if I was really bothered, I'd fucking give it back to him. But I listened to a bit of Chaz and Dave. I seen that on Andy's wall today as well, and yeah, all was right with the world.
All right, mate. Well, listen, James, all the best. You take care. See you, mate.
And you, mate. Speak soon, Russ. Bye, mate.
All right. Well, that was James. That was his story. Women love him, men fear him. That's about it. Hope you like that picture of you, Flexi baby. Hey, what a weapon you are, Flex. Eh? What a weapon, eh? Having that copper around your gym every single day. Do you think that's good? Giving coppers access to boxing, do you? Haven't we got enough with that Les Potts at British Boxing Board of Control and all his family on board as well, eh? It's a family affair. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, that's boxing for you, isn't it? An absolute cesspit. And that's why we love it. Till you're 15 clan. You could do it, Max. You could even do cruiserweight if you listen to me. Get a gastric.